In today's video, we're going to be diving into the upcoming pattern, taking a look at colder times, but most recent model guidance is suggesting that it will overall continue to trend warmer as we reach towards the late portion of April. But I must warn you that throughout this cool down, it initially looked like it would be a short-lived, 3 or 4 day cool down, and then it extended to there being like 3 or 4 days of cold, a couple of days of warmth, and then another few days of cold. And now it's looking like there's going to be even more cold and then eventually a warm up, but they keep pushing that back. They keep suggesting a warm up and then that goes away. So I would definitely tread lightly with the idea that it is for sure going to warm up, because we need to get a little bit closer, and it's been a finicky thing here. So I must add that disclaimer. Another disclaimer is that this video is made one day ahead of time because I am now officially on my vacation by the time you're watching this, on my way down to Florida. Absolutely can't wait. I did pre-make videos for that entire trip, so I hope you guys enjoy it. We are using updated model guidance compared to yesterday's video, which I filmed earlier today. So this is actually different model guidance. It's a little bit later in the day, but it is one day outdated. But hey, we're getting information out. That's the important part. Looking at the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook, which I did not have in the previous video, at least not as the April 10th issued one, we can see that this is for April 16th through 20th. Overall, a positive PNA, which just means warmer temperatures, higher pressure out west, cooler temperatures diving there into the eastern states here. That is going to be the dominant pattern here for the 16th through 20th. Looking at the precipitation for the same exact time frame, it's really hard to come by these above average areas. A little bit of Texas, a little bit of Minnesota and North Dakota, and then a little bit of northern New England there. But really, these below average areas are much more expansive, like one here over a majority of the west, and then one over a majority of the deep south here, if not the entire deep south. So a much drier pattern during this time frame is right now what's expected. Looking at the 8 to 14 day temperature outlook from the National Weather Service, this is going to be for the 18th through 24th. We can see this warmth starts, first off, the heart of it kind of begins to move inland towards the central states, which is pretty significant. So the heart of this warm up is now mostly over the middle of the nation. We could also see that a lot of this warmth has expanded towards the southeast, especially, but also into some of the Midwest, Great Lakes, and Ohio Valley. The only area that's really below normal here by this point would be the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast, and it's very slight at that. So this is overall a sign that they think, as we approach the 20th and go beyond it, probably we're going to be warming from where we're at. But again, the models have continued to push that further and further back, so I would definitely take it with a grain of salt. The precipitation during this time frame is a little bit more optimistic for some folks. We see above average for parts of Texas and New Mexico, and then also a majority of the north of the nation for like New England, the Northeast, a lot of the northern plains, upper Midwest, Great Lakes, even bits of Montana, Idaho, and Washington there, all included in this above average precipitation. So we can anticipate many storms moving around the northern areas and even the south of Canada. Looking towards the west, still quite dry out there, so below average precipitation, and also the deep south, and now expanding into parts of the Midwest and Kentucky and Tennessee here as well. These areas are also below average. Looking at, again, the updated European model guidance here, we can see that this is for yesterday from the time you're watching it, for today on Friday the 11th, we can see quite a bit of thunderstorm activity for a lot of these areas in the Mid-Atlantic and Southeast, also for the deep south back here. But also showers up to the north, and this will eventually translate into some snowfall for the Northeast as well. And also, not only that, if we follow our jet stream, we see we're moving relatively up the coast, so actually a low is going to form and move up the eastern states and become a bit of a nor'easter here. So let's see what happens as we move this towards Saturday morning. We start to see snowfall for some of the Catskills there, northeastern Pennsylvania, southern New England, like the Berkshires and some of those mountainous areas in central Massachusetts, as well as southwestern New Hampshire, eastern Connecticut, those areas seeing a pretty big band of snowfall there for Saturday morning. And that does last into the afternoon, but I should say, as we reach the afternoon into the evening of Saturday, we do actually switch over to rain on most of these areas according to this model. So whatever does stick might end up just melting from this rainfall that hits after, if this model is correct. We do see snowfall and rainfall kind of prevailing here in the northwest corner of the nation. By Sunday afternoon here, we do see some low pressure over the north. So again, this has kind of been the trend, these storms up to the north, just like the 8 to 14 day outlook from the National Weather Service. We do see these storms hovering around the US-Canadian border. As we move towards Monday, we see we're still in this quieter pattern, though we do have this low here, and we do have a cold front extending out. So I do suspect there's going to be a thunderstorm chance in these areas, maybe a lower end severe weather risk as well. But overall, I mean, between now, with the exception of today on Friday, Thursday into Friday, we can see that things are going to quiet down in the severe weather department, which is huge. We've had a relatively historic start to the severe weather season, especially as it pertains to tornadoes. Nearly 500 this year so far, and that's not including the amount that we've had for Thursday or Friday, so the 10th, 11th time frame. But just a really, really fast and aggressive start to the tornado season. So it's really, really good that we have seen this slowdown here. Tuesday afternoon, 15th, wouldn't be surprised if there is maybe some thunderstorms around for Virginia and for the Delmarva, if not just showers, and it is quite dreary along the northeast and mid-Atlantic as well. Looking towards Wednesday, we cool back down here for the 16th, Thursday the 17th as well. We're warming back up, so Arctic Blast number 1 moves through. And then we actually have another one just moving in right behind it underneath this low. So we see some Canadian snowfall as a result of this low, and also probably some thunderstorms popping up underneath from this low. But it ends up moving through, and it is pretty expansive with its impacts, but it isn't the strongest low in the world, which doesn't mean everything, but that is good news overall. We end up with thunderstorms along the southeast for Friday the 18th, with very cold air moving in behind it. Saturday is also very cold here on the 19th, before Sunday the 20th, where we are warming up, and it's as a result of this 987 millibar low pressure center over South Dakota. A warm front forms here, so this is pulling the warm Mexican air, even the Gulf air, up into these areas, so humid and hot. And we do see some snowfall and heavy rainfall nearby that low as well. This should warm things up quite nicely for Sunday into Monday here. Yeah, by Monday here, we see this very strong low, bit of a warm front up here, and then somewhat of a cold front underneath. Probably some thunderstorms happening in this warm sector here. A pretty expansive event at that as well for Monday the 21st. I could see that one trending worse and worse. That looks like it has a lot of potential for severe weather just based off of placement, temperature patterns, all that. But looking at that model guidance, it looked a little underwhelming based on just the actual potential that a storm like that would have. But we do see a new low immediately after for Tuesday the 22nd, starting out in northeast Colorado, which is kind of a hot spot for these storms to start. Snowfall throughout the northern Rockies to the north of it. Some precipitation starting out along where a warm front would be trying to form here. And let's see what happens by the time we reach Wednesday. That low actually weakens quite a bit. It would be over northern, or kind of like Minnesota, Wisconsin area. In that warm sector, we do have pockets of thunderstorms for the south central states into the Midwest and some of the Ohio Valley. But again, not the most overwhelming storm by any means. And really, your jet stream by this point is purely the opposite of what we expect during the short to medium range. This is, of course, Wednesday the 23rd, so this is the long range. But we have colder in the west, low pressure in the west, and we actually end up with a much warmer pattern in the east by this time frame. So let's see what happens for Thursday the 24th here. A lot of the same into even Friday the 25th. So it does look like we revert back to something like this, which would bring much warmer conditions to the east and much cooler out west, even snowy out west, as you can see. Lots more thunderstorm chances as well, similar to what we saw throughout a lot of March and early April. But the models have been showing something like this, like I said, and consistently pushing it back. So this could be legitimate, but it also could be just another one of those things that's going to get pushed down, kind of kicked down the road a little further. Let's see on the GFS model what we're seeing. We're really getting similar conditions outside of Saturday where there's much more snowfall for West Virginia, Maryland, Pennsylvania, New York, New England there. It does switch over to rainfall in this model as well, but that is much more intense. We get that cool down, second one, and then we actually do end up in a warmer pattern overall beyond that point. So starting around like Tuesday the 22nd and beyond, it's just much warmer. And watch this area here. I'm going to replay it again, but this area is just like thunderstorms every single day, starting around the 20th. So that's the 21st, 22nd, 23rd, 24th, 25th, into the 26th. It looks like thunderstorm chances every single day, so activity would surge in a huge way if we saw a very, very warm and humid pattern like that. Time will tell, of course, what we end up seeing. Total precipitation, I would point out areas, but really it's decent for all the yellow and red areas. To tell you the truth, this is probably going to be below average for almost the entire nation. So let's see what it looks like. And sure enough, I mean, we get some of these drier areas like nearby the Rockies and some of the deserts there, and then as well as the northern plains and upper Midwest are above average, but their averages are much lower, so it's easier to hit that mark. We do see below average for a lot of the West and then a majority of the East as well. Total snowfall in the European model. This does look better than yesterday's video that we looked at. So higher amounts throughout the Rockies, Cascades here in Nevada. Still nothing for the northern plains and upper Midwest. We do see, however, some high elevation northeast snowfall here, as you can see. So definitely keep that in mind. But again, likely going to be very difficult for that to stick and especially to stay stuck without melting. GFS model is going to be more expansive with that northeast snowfall and higher in amounts. Time will tell, of course, what ends up happening. The mountainous west a little bit less overwhelming. I mean, we see the Cascades and Rockies seeing some, Sierra Nevada much less, and Southern Rockies much less here. So that is the overall look. Be sure to subscribe. We upload every single day, even when I am on vacation, as you can see. This is the first of many. Well, I shouldn't say many. I think it's 7, so this is the first of 7. Be sure to hit the bell icon as well for daily notifications when we upload so you never miss one. Be sure to like the video if you did enjoy it. Leave a comment down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.